Are we just back? Are we just the best team in the land? The treble's still on, by the way. I want to remind people of that, by the way. We're fantastic. When we play well, we're fantastic. But it's a shame I've got to say that. Is that a subordinate clause, that bit at the start? It's a shame I've got to say when we play well, we're fantastic. Of course we're fantastic. We've got all the minerals, all the materials to be a fantastic side. And you'd expect that, by the way. An already Premier League winning side, you took on 450 odd million pounds, you should be playing like that every week. The only problem is we aren't right now. But that was absolutely a display of all of our capabilities when we're all on song, when we're actually playing like a unit and a team. When you go back to your old midfield, you revert back to what works. A title-winning midfield two. Three, in fact. Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, McAllister. McAllister, I actually want to start with McAllister. I wouldn't usually start with an individual player today, but I thought McAllister, that is so commendable. Absolutely. I mean, that's fantastic. Arguably man of the match. I think Szoboszlai, if he wasn't that good and pretty, it would have been McAllister or Salah. McAllister was one of the only players, I think, with Robertson, yeah, who played midweek. The whole idea of midweek was to rest the team to play the first team today. And you've got to say it worked. I know we're out the cup, but ultimately it kind of worked. We'll talk about that in a minute. To do that, as King Fred, one of the members on the stream, says, to do that after playing midweek is just fantastic. To do that after his poor season. But don't get me wrong, there's nothing new from McAllister today. McAllister weren't groundbreaking. I wasn't going, who's this number 10? Is that what's he called? McAllister? Who's that? We know exactly how good he is. But the problem is, he's not playing to that level. Or he hasn't been this year. And that's fine. There are so many reasons as to why he's not been at the level. Be it having a kid, be it a disjointed pre-season. He were almost treating the first 4 or 5 games like the pre-season, very similar to Alexander Isak. There are reasons as to why he's perhaps been a bit off it this year. But let's not ignore today was one of the best performances of the season from him, if not the best. I'd even go as far to say the best. And when you consider, put the context around it and how bad his season's been, it makes it even more impressive. When you consider he played like a lot of the game midweek, it makes it even more impressive. What a performance. Coincides with a great performance from the guy next to him. The guy who scored a goal today, Gravenberch. Not his first goal of the season, by the way. These late runs into the box, they add up. And over a season, when you've got a number 6 player scoring 10 goals a season, look at Rodri at Man City, look at Declan Rice, I know he's number 8, but he's scoring goals he scored today. It adds up. You've already got, 20 goals each in all comps spread about your front three, if being real. I'd fancy Salah to score 20 this year. I'd fancy Ekitike on the form he's on to score 20 this year in all comps. Obviously not Prem, all comps. Gakpo could easily score 15 this year. When you chuck in an extra 6, people are going to 6 or 7. When you chuck in an extra 6 from Gravenberch, an extra 6 from Szoboszlai, an extra 6 from McAllister, we know what he's capable of. You've got a 1,000-goal team there. Maybe not 1,000. You've got a lot of goals there, and that's just great, isn't it? What an option to have there. Gravenberch, fantastic. I think when people are talking about Caicedo as being the best 6 in the league, he probably is, but Gravenberch ain't far off. I really don't think that. I'd say this. I maybe think Caicedo's a better player than Gravenberch. By the way, guys, I'm live on YouTube. I always go live on YouTube after every game, so please come and check out. The camera's way better on here than on there, and I'm reading your comments out. That's why I'm focusing. I'm not just bog-eyed. I'm not just looking here when I'm actually, you know what I mean? I would say Caicedo's a better number 6. However, I don't believe there's anyone in the world, forget Caicedo, forget the league, in the world, better at what Gravenberch is great at, in terms of receiving the ball off a defender, turning, beating a man, running forward and breaking a line with a pass. I don't believe anyone else can do it in the world like he can. I think Pedri's a better midfield player. Probably think Caicedo's a better midfield player. But at that thing what he's so good at, I don't think anyone beats him at that. Szoboszlai, you could make such a... do you know how strong of an argument you could make for Szoboszlai being one of the best box-to-box midfield players in the world right now? I think if you said that, no one's laughing in your face. Szoboszlai's been Liverpool's best player for the best part of 2 months. Back to back to back to back. Today, gets the assist for that Ekitike goal that was eventually offside. Today, man of the match. The Burnley game, not fantastic in that game to be fair, but I look at the Arsenal game, gets the goal in that game. I look at the Newcastle game, the only player who doesn't touch the ball is Szoboszlai because he makes that run to leave it for Ngamoa. Atletico Madrid puts the ball in at the end for the goal. He's got, I say it all the time, he's got fingerprints over everything good that's coming right now at Liverpool. That is exactly how. That's how to win games. It's not like, oh, we did very well there. That was really good as an individual performance. That's a template that you've now got to copy. That is how you win a game with this squad. You play a 4-3-3, or at least more resembling a 4-3-3 than what we've seen previously. I understand it was a 4-2-4, and it was really, mainly because we were going man for man with a side who play a 4-4-2. I don't think Villa played the best game. I do think that. Please do subscribe, by the way. It's the best way, the easiest way of helping me out on the channel. Click the plus so you don't miss a video. Daily Liverpool videos on TikTok and on YouTube, of course. Please do get into the YouTube chat. It's a much better... That camera's crap. Look at that. It's my phone camera. Look at that camera there. Oh my god, you beautiful people. That's way better. That's in 4K, that, by the way. Actually, it's 4K. We finally did it. One of the members on the stream, Rofo, hello. LFC Foxy, Kanate remembered how to play the game. Yeah, you're not wrong. I'll come on to Kanate in a bit. We've got to talk templates. We've got to talk how to win games now. Because that game, let me tell you, is nothing. We might as well have lost that game if we don't win next week. It's true, isn't it? What's the point in putting in a good win there, 2-0 at home? Clean sheet, great. Lose next week. Makes that performance mean absolutely nothing. The whole concept. This week, we had a week plan. The week plan was this. It started off by resting the entire first 11, pretty much, and getting knocked out of a cup. Essentially surrendering in the cup. We might as well not turned up. That's stage A of the plan. If we win the game, obviously it's better, but we weren't expected to win that game. Stage B was to win against Villa with that team that you've just rested, giving them the better chance, the best chance of winning that game. Fully fit team, no injuries, raring to go. It worked. You've got to say it worked. I know we're out the cup. And I still do believe Arne Slot could have played perhaps a 20-30% stronger team in that cup game, or at least filled the bench of some players to bring on half an hour to go. I do believe that, contrary to the win today. But you've got to admit the week plan worked here. But the week plan now has to turn into a month plan, unfortunately. Or then what's the point of planning your week? It's true, of course it's true. If you want to get into a routine in life, what's the point of waking up at 6 AM doing 100 press-ups, eating really healthily, I don't know, quitting social media? What's the point of doing it for a week? Oh, do it for a week, that's great. Then you're back to it, after 8 days? You've got to keep it up for the month. What's the point of winning the game today and then losing against Man City, losing against Forest next week? Because today means nothing. The whole point of resting on the Wednesday, on the midweek, was to make today the catalyst game, the ignition point. This should be the turning point now. I want to be here. I want to be sat here talking to the exact same people on here. Get into the YouTube. I want to be sat talking to the same people in 2 months going, do you remember that Aston Villa game at home, 2-0? What a performance. We've not lost since then. Because it's down to this game. What's the point if we get beaten next week? This means nothing. And that actually goes back. That means the cup game means nothing. That means sacrificing the cup game means nothing if we lose against Nottingham Forest in 2 weeks. If we lose against Man City. Because the momentum's gone. You've got to see today as a catalyst game. This has to be where it starts now. It's only just started in my eyes. Today was fantastic. Today was one of the best performances of the season. I would even say probably the best performance of the season. Up there with Frankfurt. Up there with the first half of Atletico Madrid. But I'd say over a 90... it was today. But you have to take it and run with it right now. Yeah, look at Arsenal. Arsenal fans have been going back to that first game of the 7 where they kept 7 clean sheets in a row, won 7 games in a row. They'll be looking back now like, oh, how good was that first win? Just to get the first one over. That's what we're looking for. We've been looking for a first win for fucking 3 weeks. We've finally got it. But what's the point if we lose next week? Some great individual performances today. I want to bring this comment up. Please do, if you're on the TikTok, get into the YouTube stream. It's George Scaife LFC, the same name as that. Please do follow that account and this one. I appreciate at this moment in my YouTube life, I'm trying to push the video out. I'm trying to push it out on more platforms to try and get more people in here. I really want people to know where this is and where to find this. This is hopefully going to be the only place you'll need to be for Liverpool content all year. Maybe this is arrogant of me. I think I talk more sense than half of them people who just sit there saying, this lot should be sacked. And if you want more sense, come in here. I do believe that. I do believe I just say what I see, and I've always done that. Nothing's getting clipped here, no clippable moments, but unfortunately, that's not forcing it, you know what I mean? Some people are at divs, you know. There's one guy on TikTok who had genuinely, his vid had 200,000 likes, saying, Arne Slot should be sacked. It's like, what are you actually doing? You're not embarrassed. You're not embarrassed to go outside. You ugly thing, honestly. Arne Slot should be sacked. What are you talking about, you div? You big div. Some good performances today from players. Conor Bradley improved. I do think he had a good second half. First half, a bit suspect at times. But overall, it's a big game, that. It's a big game from Bradley. This is a guy who now has locked down the position essentially by default. NA. NA. Frimpong's injured for 6 weeks. Is it 6 weeks? Szoboszlai has absolutely finally proved himself as a midfield player. Not that he didn't have... Not that he had to do that. We know how good he is. But I think Arne Slot maybe didn't know how good he was as a midfield player because he kept playing him as a frigging right back. But now, the only option, aside from maybe Calvin Ramsey coming up at the back post there, is Bradley, of course. Which is interesting because he's had his best game for me in a Liverpool shirt this season when there's no one particularly pushing him. Which is really interesting, isn't it? Why is that? I thought that was strange. Yeah, King Fred with a £5, mate. You don't have to donate at all. Please, thank you very much. Where are the slot out Muppets now? Exactly, mate. I'm going to keep that highlighted for a while. You're so true. You're so right. That's so true. What are you doing? You must feel so embarrassed if you're going on social media saying Slot should be sacked. Do you not feel him? Would you actually go outside? Like, do you have friends that you kind of converse with midweek? Do you just come on video with us saying that he should be sacked and then just, Arne Slot should be sacked? Pause. Go about your day as normal. Like, why are you putting on this act? Who are you trying to be? The Mark Goldbridge template worked. The AFTV template worked. Why are you trying to pretend to be that whilst we're still one of the best sides in Europe? And I still believe we are. I do still believe we are, by the way. Obviously, the last 5 games have been terrible. Absolutely shocking. We're still somehow second in Premier League. I think people forget that. Second in the Premier League. And if today's anything to go by, we win next week. If we put in that performance again, we win the game next. The problem is it's about if we can do it. You know what I mean? It's about can we put a game back-to-back, 2 good games back-to-back. I know we're good enough for it. We've shown it today. That's why I do believe we're one of the best teams in Europe. I mean, I've begun quite far down the list, I would say that. But we're certainly top 10. I mean, geez, how far are we going back on this? Yeah, I think people are so fake. And that's hopefully what I'm offering on this channel, which I don't think a lot of people are. I watch no YouTube. I don't watch any Liverpool creator at all. So I can't tell you who the weirdos are anymore, but I know who they used to be. And I don't know if they're still going on now. Some people on TikTok are absolutely just minging to listen to it. It's like, oh my God, shut up, my ears hurt. Seriously. People, we won 2-0 tonight at home, great performance. People who are going Arne Slot out, I guarantee they'll do a vid tonight getting annoyed that something wasn't right. Or they'll be so annoyed that they didn't. Oh God, we won today. You're joking. I can't get my video. I can't get my sound bite out tonight. Good. My God, get outside. Great to see. Yeah, mate, Fred, you're right. The Nallo thing. I mean, I made a video straight after Nallo got sent off the other day. I just think it could happen to anyone. He's a young lad. I think he's actually younger than me. He's like, anyone can get a red card. Just so happens he's had 2 red cards back to back in 2 appearances. Van Dijk get a red card. Don't mean I think less of him. I don't think less of Nallo. Yeah, I find it interesting. There's a lot of. You're not surprised you won today. I reckon. I assume you're a Villa fan. Sorry. I am surprised we won generally because we don't really win games at the moment. But I do think from like minute 10, 20, apart from that Morgan Rogers shot right at the post, I just think we're the better team. Full stop from start to finish. And I've said it literally in every single one of our last 5 games. We've not been the best team, and I'll say it when that happens. But I just thought today we were easily. I've not watched too much of Villa this year. I watched them against Spurs, and I was impressed largely. But then you look at that Spurs performance today, and it's like against Chelsea. Does that take away from the? I'd say it doesn't because you don't beat the team in front of you, right? And just because they lost the week after doesn't mean it's less impressive the week before. I just believe though Villa went very negative today. Had no real outlet. Didn't really use Watkins very well. I do think you struggle with pace. Certainly if that left for McGinn there, McGinn gets you so far. Obviously a great workhorse when he comes into midfield and he offers so much off the ball. But you really struggle with that outlet, I think. If you had a Rashford off the bench coming on, I'd be like, shit, I know we're 2-0 up here, but we need to lock this down. But you brought Sancho on. It's like he's one of the slowest wingers of all time. 2-0. I don't actually know what to kind of go to now. We were great across the board. I don't feel like many people are speaking about Mamardashvili. And I guess Mamardashvili kind of went a bit quiet in that game, which is a good thing. That's a great thing. He made one great save. Who had that shot where it came off someone's leg and it was going top corner, and he saved it, but he goes across his... What a save that was. And if that goes in, we're losing. I forgot at the time we were losing or drawing. What a save! And yeah, did nothing else. But that's the best praise, I guess, for him and the team. That Mamardashvili, the best praise for Mamardashvili or for the defence is we're not rating the keeper. Keeper had a quiet game. That's an alternative way of saying the defence had a really good game. If the keeper ain't getting spoken about. And yeah, I don't think he's actually been too amazing, Mamardashvili. Obviously, with the hype around him, he was tipped to be one of the best goalkeepers in the world when he was a bit younger than he is now. I believe he's one of the most valuable goalkeepers in the world on transfer market. But ultimately, that means nothing. You've got all this hype around you. I wasn't particularly impressed by his first. I think, aside from 2 or 3 games, maybe 2 games, not been too impressed, really. He looks solid. Of course he looks solid. But today, I just thought that save was just massive there as well. That one of their first shots, just to pull that out the bag, is just so big. Yeah, I disagree. It's been on the whole, yeah, I would say, but in individual games, I just believe he could have saved off a few of the shots we conceded. That one against Brentford, I'm like, what the hell? But listen, we're not here to talk about negatives at all. Mamardashvili's been more than good enough. More than good enough. If you're at this point and you're celebrating the game with me tonight, please do leave a like on the video. I would absolutely love you to like the vid. I was debating. So, what I want to do on these streams now is, I've actually been really good with the streams recently. I'm on YouTube, by the way. I'm not just talking there. I'm talking to the camera on YouTube. Please get involved. George Scaife LFC. I go live after every game now. Done it for the last 4. I want to go live the morning after as well. So I might try it tomorrow and see what happens. I think maybe something like a player ratings day after the game, or just some sort of debrief day after the game, looking forward onto the next week. I don't know how I'm going to work it out. Maybe I could do player ratings now briefly, and we could see how it works. I've never done player ratings on here before. I tend not to like it because people get so annoyed for no reason. Like, oh, you're a disgrace. What an absolute moron. You've given him 1 less rating than I would have. It's like, great. Cheers for disliking me off for no reason. If I had to do player ratings today, I don't know. Mamardashvili, 8. Clean sheet. Great save in the start. Bradley. I give Bradley an 8. I thought first half maybe a bit worse than the second. Please do just put a number. Just put a number, please. Bradley, number. Just make it simple. None of this like bullshit talking. Don't talk. Just give me Bradley, number. I'd give Bradley an 8 today. Yeah, second half were great. Really dynamic, I thought. I thought he held his runs when he needed to. Same with Robertson. I thought Robertson, just in a really interesting game from Robbo. He found himself in the box. Loads. I couldn't work that out. Everyone's giving Ramsey mainly a 7 or an 8. Yeah, 7.5 I'd agree with, to be fair. We'll go 7.5 for Bradley. Bit less budget than United Stand. You know, they have like the fancy graphics. I'm just saying it. And you're commenting. Right, next, Kanate. I don't know who were the better defender today. I feel like Kanate was more involved. I would say Kanate was the better defender. I just don't think Van Dijk... I can't remember much he did. Well, that's a good thing. That is a good thing. I'd give Kanate an 8. I think that was his best performance since... Man United. I thought Man United was his best game of the season. Maybe that and Arsenal. I'd say Arsenal because we obviously won the game. I'd give Kanate an 8. A lot of people giving him 7s. 7 and 8. Fair enough. On to Virgil van Dijk. I'd probably give Van Dijk a 7. Today. Good. That's a good rating. That's a really good rating. Maybe 7.5. I'd love to know your thoughts. Obviously, clean sheets. I've got to give these players an high rating, right? Van Dijk's getting largely a 7. 7 to 8. I think we're about in agreement there, guys. I realise I'm going quite quick here. Into Robertson. I don't know today. I thought he had some good moments. I thought his passing display in the first half was crap. But defensively, you can't complain at that. You know, I'd give that a 7.5, 8 out of 10 for Robertson. Love the content, mate. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. 6.5, 8, 9, 7.5. That's very, very varied. What the hell? I'd give Robertson an 8 today. I thought it was okay. Really good, sorry. Defensively, probably better than he was going forward. But he was taking up that inverted role, wasn't he? Attacking into the box. I was like, what? Why has he ended up there? He's probably, if the ball fell to someone in our team, aside from the goalkeeper, like you wouldn't want it to be him. But he's getting in the box, so Arne Slot must know what he's on about. I clearly don't. So, into the midfield, I think Gravenberch, you've got to give Gravenberch at least an 8.5 today. Maybe this is controversial. I thought he was the, not that anyone's bad, the weakest of our midfield 3. That implies he was bad. Not at all. The least good, essentially. I just thought McAllister was so impressive. I'll come on to him in a minute. And Szoboszlai was fantastic, man of the match. I'd still give Gravenberch an 8.5. A lot of 9s in here. Entirely justified because he scored. Okay, fair. We'll give him a 9. He did score the goal. But I'd give all 3 of them 9s. I'd give McAllister, and do McAllister now. I'd give McAllister a 9. Call me crazy, McAllister was better. No, you're right. Of course you're right. Guys, get involved on the YouTube. George Scaife, LFC. No more DartDays. We're live with DartDays next week. We're coming back. Season 2 is nearly here. I do a darts account, by the way, called DartDays. Go and check it out on YouTube. McAllister gets a 9 today. Absolute 9 at least. Can't give out 9.5s though for that. I think you need to score something to get a 9.5. But that was a great McAllister performance for me. And I've give Szoboszlai a 9. Give him all 9s. Is it a coincidence that the midfield that won the league last year is good? Is just good. It's not a coincidence, is it? Not making it up. I think you're correct with that. That was far from Gravenberch's best game, which shows how good he is. I agree with that. I'd give all 3 midfield players a 9 today. If I was going to give one just an edge more, I'd go Szoboszlai, personally. Certainly if he gets that assist for Ekitike that was offside. Let's go to the right. Mo Salah. Oh, miles better. Miles better. 8.5. Salah today. 8.5. I actually thought he took the goal really well. I feel like no one's really speaking about that. Obviously, it was an open net, essentially, because the keeper had stepped out. But I just think sometimes, obviously, some players who ain't got the instinct like Salah does would have maybe taken a touch or passed it there, or Salah just went, no, bang, first time goal. Brilliant. 8.5. A lot of 9s in there, a lot of 8s. I think, to be fair, 8.5 is a good rating for Salah. On the whole, from me there, I would. The King's back, entirely right, mate. Right foot finish, yeah, you're correct, exactly. Weak foot, instinct, bang. Salah's so great with instincts. So I'd give Salah an 8.5. Off to the left, Cody Gakpo. I think Gakpo's probably the weakest of our forwards today. I think Gakpo's an argument for being our weakest player today, which is interesting. I certainly don't think he's bad. I'd give Gakpo a 7 today. I think a 7's good. I can't give anyone less than a 7. We've won the game 2-0 at home. I find it very hard to go below that. A lot of lower ratings, though. There's a 5.5 I've just seen there, a 6.5, a 7.5, a 6, 6.5. Okay, maybe I'm on the high side of the rating there with 7. 6.5 I could get behind. It looked off the pace, but it wasn't. I wasn't going like, oh, he's got to come off here. Really, I wasn't really going that. I do think Wirtz could have come on from a bit earlier. Maybe that's the case. I'd give him a 6.5 or a 7 today. On to the main man, Ekitike. This player's a joy to watch. And if he gets that goal that was offside, it's a different story. He gets an extra 1 on his rating. I'd give Ekitike a 7.5 today. 7.5, 8 out of 10. The only reason I give him a 7.5 and not maybe an 8 or an 8.5, I don't think he was particularly involved, like as much as a Salah was. Or I'd love to see some numbers. Watch me be proven wrong here, but I feel like Gakpo was more on the ball than Ekitike. Obviously, he's a bit deeper, wider. We like to play wide. I'd have liked Ekitike just to come get on the ball himself a bit more. Come and see the ball. But I entirely hear your ratings there. 7.5, 8, 8.5, seen a 9 in there as well. His passes all around, yeah. You hardly saw it. That's what I mean. I find it very hard to give him an 8 or an 8.5 when he just wasn't on the ball too much. But some of the little flicks he was attempting, oh, great. I mean, he's clearly one of our best players. When everyone's on it, he's on it. He's one of our best players when everyone's playing their best game. And for me right now, even when Isaac is playing, I still believe Ekitike is one of the first names on the team sheet. And it begs the question, how do you fit both of these players in? You're playing Isaac for his price tag, and obviously for his body of work at mainly in the Premier League for Newcastle. But I think right now you're playing him for his price tag, really. The only reason he's starting over Ekitike now is the fact that genuinely there was bought for more money. Because Ekitike has been the better player this year. By far. And it's not even nearly a conversation. And he was signed for, obviously still loads of money, Ekitike. I think that's actually not spoken about enough, how much. Obviously he's been great, but he was signed for a lot of money, Ekitike. It's like, this is what you expect from a player for this. You signed for, how much was he, 80 million? I forgot how much he was. But I think we kind of get our visions clouded by all these signings going for 100 million quid in the Prem. Your Enzo Fernandez of the world, and like they just probably don't live up to 100 million quid. Grealish, like, it's very hard for an 80 million pound player to be worth 80 million pounds, 75 million pounds. Sorry, someone said there. Apologies. But yeah, he's playing to it. As Rofo just said, he's playing to his price tag. I think That's why Isak's not set up to fail, but he's got such a way more out of a job because he's got to live up to that 100 whatever it was price tag. Same with Wirtz. And to do it in the same team, for two players to do it simultaneously with Ekitike, it's hard. Someone's going to slip up there, you'd like to think. The chances of all three players singing the same hymn from the same sheet is very unlikely, I'd think. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, law of averages, surely someone's going to be slightly below what we know they could do and slightly disappointing compared to their price tag. And right now, you've probably got to say it's been Isak. But again, there's been so many factors to consider there. Lack of match fitness, lack of game time, a struggle in pre-season, injury, obviously. I enjoyed that little player rating segment there. Who came off the bench? Wirtz. 6, got Meg. Did you see that from Kamara, by the way? What the hell? Oh my god, it's like edge of the box. Just boop, rolls it through. See you later. So I got this comment on my TikTok, on my match reaction. Should Onana have got a red card? Just give me yes and no. I assume you're talking about on McAllister when he pushes him like that. Because I was reading the comments, I was going, I don't even on about it. Onana red card? I'm thinking, yeah, probably. Well, maybe. I wasn't sat there, to be honest with you, at home going, it should have been send him off. To be honest with you, I thought McAllister milked it a bit, a fair bit. Obviously, he's put his hand here. Like you're gonna go down, and he got a yellow card, rightly so. Of course, rightly so. Any more than that, though, I don't know. I don't know. Because it was twice. Yeah, but the second one, it's like everyone's pushing. You're gonna get that. He was asking for it, and McAllister went down a second time as well. I imagine rival fans have been fuming watching that. The neutrals, like get up, but. He's our player, so I guess it's fine. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about Onana right now. I just really enjoyed today's performance. It's so refreshing, isn't it? Not just to win, but to put a good performance in. I always say this. Performances are the bread and butter. That don't matter if you win games. Obviously, it does. Winning games wins you leagues, but performances win you games. Like there's a chain reaction here, right? If we put in a good performance and didn't win the game, next week I'd be going, well, fancy our chances here. We're good last week. I know we didn't win, but we played well last week. Fancy our chances next week. If you play shit and win, next week you're thinking, right, we didn't play very well last week, so can we carry that into next week? I don't know, but we won the game, so, you know what I mean? I do believe performances are better than results. And that actually, I don't believe that. That sounds nonsense. That sounds nonsensical. But I believe right now they're more of a priority. That's what I mean. I'd rather we put in a good performance and lost than a bad performance and won. I don't think that's a hot take. I really don't. It's just about momentum, right? If you're like scraping wins, you can't win a league by scraping wins, and that is so obviously proven right by Liverpool doing that this season. We scraped to win every week for about 4 weeks, and then we lost 5 in a row. Are you surprised? I never saw this coming. Why are we losing games? Yeah, because we're scoring at 93rd minute every week in the previous 4 weeks. Were you surprised by this? No. That's why performances are so much better than results. Well, they're not. I said that wrong again. As a priority, right? Hopefully you know what I mean. Obviously. Today seemed more sustainable. Yeah, it did. And that's exactly the point here. It's about how do you replicate that. If this is an isolated game, if we lose our next 3 games, what the hell's the point? I don't even know anymore. Today was a mould which our players filled in. You've got to do it next week and the week after, which is why I bring up the point about Florian Wirtz, and I'm thinking, where the hell does he get into the team? Suggest it. Where would you put Florian Wirtz in that team today? Off the left? Because he's certainly more likely to be off the left in my team there than through the middle instead of Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai's first. If you were to go through and do first names on the team sheet, and I want to actually, let's all agree. Please get involved in the comments. If you're on the TikTok stream, get into the YouTube stream. In fact, I'm going to do that now. Get into the YouTube. I'm ending this because my phone's going to die. Nice one. I appreciate it. George Scaife LFC. Cheers. Ignore that rabble. They're just you've got to kind of push the channel. You see what I mean? Like when you're starting these kind of things. I know we're not starting, but we're pretty established right now. But we are still trying to grow. So I apologise. Let's agree, all of us. Who is our most important player right now? Who's the first player in our team sheet? assuming the team we've got now, so no Isak, no Alisson, no, it's absolutely Szoboszlai, and it's not even a nearly conversation. We shouldn't be having a conversation about who the first player on our team sheet is. He's our best player, and I'm glad everyone agrees. I'm glad everyone agrees there with Szoboszlai. It gets a lot more, for me, it gets a lot harder when you talk about second best player. The second player on the team sheet. You know what it is for me? I still think it's Van Dijk. I do still think that. Samuel agrees. Think about it, right? Just sit there and think for a second. Rank it. Second most important player. Who's the second player? It's your captain. It's your captain who's the best centre-back in the team and arguably the league. It's Van Dijk. Van Dijk is the second name. And I think surely we can all agree on that. Surely we can all agree it goes Szoboszlai, Van Dijk. Your best player and your captain. When you get to third, I think you are looking at a few players. I think you are looking at Ekitike. I think you're looking at Ryan Gravenberch. And I think that's where you're looking. I think that's it. I really do think that's it. And I think Gakpo comes into it around 5 or 6 maybe. It's Ekitike or Gravenberch right now. And for me, that third name on the team sheet is Gravenberch. A lot of people are agreeing here. I might do this in a video, I think it's needed, this conversation. So for me, Arne Slot's picking the team, right? Szoboszlai has to play. Van Dijk, Gravenberch, Ekitike. There's the 4. I hope you can all agree with me. That's what it has to go to. Robertson's an interesting shout, I just think it's still a bit of a toss of a coin, to be fair. You look at 5th. Fifth's probably Konate, solely based on, DNF for the other candidates. You know what I mean? It's almost like it probably is Konate, because he's played every game this year. So I'd probably say 5th Konate. This is really hard. 6th, yeah, Alisson. No, but I'm assuming the injuries are still a thing. I would go 5th Konate, 6th Gakpo, 7th. Ignore the keeper. Let's do out of 10. 7, Robertson. 7, Bradley, because he's the only one fit. 8, Robertson. 9, Wirtz. 10, Salah. Is that controversial? That's where I am. And obviously Salah had a great game today. No doubt. But to be fair, I can't put Salah last. I'll put Robertson last. Salah's not going higher than 8, though. No way. I know he did a good game today. I said that before, but I take 10th back. Right, my final list. I'm going to lock my list in. If I was Arne Slot picking the team tomorrow, based on team sheet, who's the first name on the team sheet, this is the order I'm at right now, considering how many players are fit to play in each position. So bearing in mind Bradley's the only one. Or should we do it? Might need to think that through before the vid. Should we do it if everyone's fit? Should we do it if everyone's fit? Isak's fit. Right, we'll do that. And I'm just going to give you a top 5, because I'm not doing the whole frigging team. Say everyone's fit, we're doing a top 5. First name on the team sheet's Alisson. So it's changed already, because it is probably Alisson. Second, Szoboszlai. Third, Van Dijk. 4th, Gravenberch. 5th, Ekitike. And I'm locked in there. And 6th, I would go either, you're not going to like this at all, I don't care what you say, Cody Gakpo 6th. I've seen enough this year to put him in 6th. I do believe that. Obviously, he's the only left winger, really. Senior, I know Ngamoa's there, but he's the only player who's going to play there. I'd go Gakpo or Konate for me right now, on form, on who's available, who's there. Let's say Gakpo 6th, Konate 7th, Salah 8th, Bradley 9. Right now, McAllister 10 for now, but I think he could be way higher later on. I'd have Jones in that 10, by the way. I think people are forgetting about Jones here. It's great that McAllister's done that today, because that puts a real it puts a mark down, doesn't it? Because obviously Jones ain't fit right now, but when he does come back, what a 3 that is to rotate with. Sorry, what a 4 that is to rotate with there. What are your thoughts on this? If you were to rest Szoboszlai, which absolutely shouldn't happen, but obviously, inevitably, it will have to happen at some point, who would you play in that 10 that isn't Wirtz? Which one of the midfield three, Gravenberch, McAllister, Jones, would you promote to make the Szoboszlai role who kind of plays in that front? I would go Jones. I think Jones is the nearest we've got to Szoboszlai. Is that okay, then that's a better question. Who's the nearest profile we've got to Szoboszlai? I think it's Jones. I do think that. I think profile-wise, I think off the ball he offers loads. I think he offers energy. I think last year, you look at last year, who did we play? Was it Chelsea? I think he scored that day, didn't he? We played a 4-2-4. I think it was Jota, rest in peace, Jota, Jones. Was that right? And Jones kind of blocked onto that back four, and it really worked. I think he scored that day. But I think Jones is a really interesting profile in this team because he can cover that 8 and obviously he can kind of cover that 10, really. Obviously it's not ideal, and obviously Wirtz should be the number 1 replacement there, but yeah, scored and won the penalty, that's it. Yeah, you're right. Jones, can't see anyone else being that profile. I think Jones is so underrated. Let's do a little game. I might end this, to be fair, with 36 minutes, that's a long stream for me. I'd love to know your thoughts on this before we end the video, and please do check out the TikTok match reactions. I always do a short form video, and so after a game will be done, I'll do one video on Liverpool, instant match reaction, one take. I'll do 5 things we learned from the game, and I'll jump on here after every game and do a live stream for half an hour. That's the routine for every game now, so please do be aware of what's going on. All the short form will be posted on here afterwards, and on Instagram, that's George Scaife LFC, it's all that. Please do subscribe. This is the only place you'll need to be all season long for Liverpool content. Pre-match, who's going to play next week, we're going to do match reactions, we've got live streams coming in. Please do subscribe, it goes very far, and leave a like. It really pushes the video out to YouTube and says, listen, this guy's doing something alright, so please do help me in any way you can by doing that, thank you. End on this. Who is our most underrated player right now? I think I know the answer. And I think there is one answer to this question. I think there are 2 answers. I've got 2 answers. And think about underrated. Underrated means some people don't rate him. Therefore he's underrated. Szoboszlai's not underrated. On a world scale he probably is. And actually, I'm going to bring all the answers up. Every single comment I'm going to bring up just to put on the screen. Robbo, I don't think he's underrated, sorry. Endo, I love him, but I'd probably say no. Gakpo, that's one of my answers. I do think that. I think he's so overhated. I think overhated and underrated do work in tangent, really. Jones, that's my answer. Jones, that is my answer. Robertson, I do disagree with the Robertson shout, but a few people are saying Robbo. A lot of Endo shouts in here. I mean, I love Endo, don't get me wrong. Jones and Robbo. I think we're hearing a lot of the same answers in here, and I agree with the Jones and Gakpo ones. Bradley, interesting shout there from Ryan. Jones, Robbo. Interesting. Maybe Robbo is overlooked. Maybe I'm proving right now that he's underrated. That's interesting, isn't it? Frimpong, interesting. For me, it's Curtis Jones. For me, he's exactly what this team needs right now. But if McAllister keeps doing what he's doing today, Jones ain't going to get in the team. That's a fact. And the same vice versa. If Jones keeps doing what he was doing before he was injured, you look at that injuries, that could be a really pivotal part of Jones's season, that injury. He drops out the team, a space becomes vacant, and McAllister plays well the week after and takes it. That's so unfortunate for Jones, but if it makes our team better, then I'll take it. Listen, I've really enjoyed this stream today, a 40-minute stream, talking about all things Liverpool. 2-0, massive win, loads of positives today, but it means nothing if we don't win next week. I've said that a few times now, I do believe that. I'd love to know your thoughts down below. This video is going to be posted as a video straight away after this live stream, so please do get down in the comment section. I'll be replying to people as always, and do check out this stream. I believe we got is it Wednesday night our game, so Wednesday night I'll be live as well, and hopefully a live between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Stay tuned for the match preview for the Real Madrid game. Just subscribe, get involved. I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.